Hello guys, I hope you can see me and hear me clearly. I can see the chat, so if you have anything that you want to let me know, please ping me on the chat. If the audio and video is good, please ping me on the chat again so that I can start responding. So that I want to start, but before that I just wanted to make sure the audio and video is good enough for us to start. So any feedback, and then we'll jump right into the session. Yeah. Okay, audio video is good, volume is low. I will try to speak slightly louder if possible. So yeah, that is there. So I hope everything is all right. So we will start. Everything is fine. Go ahead. Super guys. Yeah. So first things first, we are introducing a CAT crash course. The course is nominally priced. As we are introducing, we have an introductory offer of 3,000 as well. So the course is available at 12,000 INR. Right, do check it out. As ever, there are many parts that are free, so definitely check it out. So what does this course contain? This course contains quant, DLR and verbal sections taught out completely through recorded sessions, and then it also has access to CAT level tests, about 5,000 questions across the 3 sections with detailed analytics that will tell you, hey, what should you be doing, what you should be not doing, right? After that, you also get access to mocks, about 8 CAT mocks and 6 actual CAT papers, completely in the exact format with good quality percentile ratings and everything. You will also get access to your XIT business decision making as well. So you take up this crash course, it will be useful for your CAT as well as XIT preparation pretty much. Right, that marks we are planning to add 1 or 2 from the actual papers as well, but not sure of that yet. But yeah, pretty much this will get you covered for what you can prepare from now until this exam in this next 3 months. So definitely check it out. The link is available already in the comments, so definitely, or in the description. Definitely check it out. It's a fabulous offer running. You should sign up if you are really looking to take up CAT, if you are very serious about the preparation as well. Right. So yeah, that is there. Okay, we'll shift to parts. News. Right. CAT 2020 happening or not? A lot of people have this. Okay, one more thing. People complaining about audio volume is low. Please use headphones, because I've tried this myself. When I use headphones, it is much better. Please use headphones. It makes life so much simpler for everybody. I don't have a professional mic setup yet, and I don't think I'm in a place where I can set up everything. So I'm using a laptop, I'm using a phone's headphones. So please bear with me. But if you use a headphones, it becomes so much clearer, because before the session I do hear this properly, right? As in, I listen to this and then see if it is all right to listen or not, if it is audible or not. So I have done that. So please use headphones if you feel the audio is low. Right? Is CAT 2020 happening? Lot of news, a lot of articles on Rediff and Times of India and Indian Express and whatnot. Right? People talk about AICTE announced something, and then people went all out saying, hey, CAT cancel ho gaya, kya karna hai? Okay, now let us chill. As on date, CAT has not been cancelled. Unequivocally, no two ways about it. CAT is not cancelled as on date. Right? CAT is supposed to happen the last week of November. It will happen. Right? But remember, this information or news bulletin about AICTE was for 2022 batch, which means they must have taken the exams between November 2019 and May 2020. So people who are joining their B schools this year, for them, they have filled a lot of seats, and then there are some seats pending and some exams did not happen and all of that. If you are there, then AICTE told us, hey, if you have some more seats to fill, maybe you don't need an entrance exam to fill your seats, go ahead and fill them up. Right? So this is completely about CAT 19 and the following exams, not about CAT 2020 at all. If you are serious about CAT 2020, throw away everything that you hear in news, but make sure you prepare well, you continue to prepare, because one day you are really excited about CAT is not happening, right? The next day you feel down because CAT is actually happening, then you are putting yourself down, you are feeling not great, then again you have to kickstart everything from the scratch. So don't give yourself that opportunity. CAT is happening as on date, unless something really bad happens uh, by the end of this November, by beginning of this November. CAT is supposed to happen by end of November. So remember that, no two ways about it. Undertaking provided by iamcat.ac.in. I don't know if all of you know about this. iamcat.ac.in has given us a PDF. The link is also available. We have two blogs for IACT and the undertaking. Someone will post the links there in the comments. So check that out. Open them in the new tab and then keep them for looking at them later. Right? Undertaking provided by iamcat.ac.in. Who should fill that? Anybody who has any form to submit and you cannot get that form, most likely it is about caste certificate. So NCOBC, EWS, SC, ST, all of that. Your Tahsildar office is closed due to COVID, you cannot get that signed and everything. Then this is an undertaking for you. What do? You take a printout of this, you write down all the details possible, probably also attach an older version of whatever certificate you need to attach, and sign saying, hey, I am honestly telling you, this is what I am eligible for this, but right now because of this COVID I am not able to get hold of that certificate. Later when situation gets better, I will submit that certificate. This is the undertaking. So if you have some trouble getting to your Tahsildar office, getting the NCOBC, EWS, all of that, then this is something that you can put to good use, right? It is also very heartening to see IAMCAT coming up with solutions when people keep asking such questions. So they are listening. So it is a good sign from my point of view, right? So undertaking, who should fill? Anybody who has a certificate to submit but who has not acquired it yet, then undertaking is for you. So this is about the information on what is the hot news in CAT 2020. Now we will discuss 4 common mistakes in CAT prep. Right? We will look at the comments, we will answer the comments, but before that I want to do one round of a couple of ideas that might be applicable for everyone. Okay? There are some common questions also which we are going to answer, but before that we will start with this 4 common mistakes in CAT preparation. Right? These are some of the very common mistakes. People don't realize that they are making this mistake. So I am telling you this so that you can look at this and then fix this. Right? To revise or not, that is the question. So revision is very, very, very vital. Revision is really important and you cannot not revise. Right? So what do you mean by that? You learn your, say, percentages, profit and loss and averages in the month of June. Right? You have never touched your books after that in terms of these 3 topics. You kept on learning topics, you kept on postponing your marks until now because you wanted to do one round of everything so that you are confident enough to attempt the marks. Inside your head you are thinking that your percentages, profit and loss and whatever the third subject is, topic is, you are confident that, hey, I studied this thoroughly, very clearly, right? But when you take a mock, you really suck at it and you get really bad scores on those 3 ideas. Why does that happen? The easiest guess is that it happens because you have not yet revised anything. The idea is revision is very vital. It is said that in about 24 hours people lose about 50% of what they retain or what they study, what they learn. Right? So for in that case, revision becomes really important. So you got to give it to yourself to say, hey, I am starting my preparation. I learn for a lot of time. I learn for 95% of my time. I'll revise for 5% of my time. Right? 3 weeks, 4 weeks down the line, you will learn for 60-70% of the time. You will revise for 30% of the time. Right? The more items you learn, less time you have for learning, but more time you need to dedicate for revision. Right? Revision is very vital. At any point of time, if I ask you, hey, when was the last time you touched percentages or profit and loss or some one topic? It should not be greater than 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks tops, not more than that. Right? At some point of time in the last 3 weeks, you should have gone through all the topics that you have read, prepared, learnt already. It is very important to do that, especially in a case where you have an exam, super competitive exam like CAT, where everybody is striving for that 0.01 percentile. Right? You got to stay at the top of your game, which means you got to be like really sharp, which will happen when you keep revising. Some people are naturally great at it, but not everybody is. If you are not, then revision is should be a part of your arsenal. Never forget that. Revision is really important, but a lot of people don't give value to revision. So if you are someone who can give value to revision, then it will make so much more sense. Your scores will go up so much more compared to others. So remember that. Noti Shirtan. This is Latin for know thyself. Right? People start with a topic and then say, hey, I want to cover a topic. I want to cover 18 topics and then 24 topics and then 32 topics. People want to cover topics one after the other, and then they go hit a mark and then feel bad that they did not score really well. Right? You should know yourself and then own your strengths and weaknesses and make a preparation plan. Right? Preparation plan per se is again not to be super detailed, not to be day level, hour level oriented. It has to be at least on a weekly, monthly level. You have to say, hey, in this month I will finish these 8 topics in quant and these 25 puzzles in DLR, and then I will choose to read for at least some 80 hours this month, probably 100 hours this month. Right? So you make a calculation, make a commitment on a month level, and you create that commitment based on who you are, what is the strength of this paper, and how does your strength matches with the strength of this paper. And I will even go one step above and then say, whenever you take a mock, the important things you should realize is 2 parts to it. One is what are your wrong answers, and then see how you can fix them. The other part is what are your right answers, have you done it the right way, or was it fluke, or was it a roundabout way? Is there any way you can improve? Every millisecond matters, every second matters, which means if you can improve upon something, you should be improving. You should not look at a question and then say, hey, I got the right answer for this question, so I don't have to analyze this in my mock. That is loads of something, right? You got to analyze every single question and then say, okay, I solved it by this method, but there is a wonderful method sitting in, and I believe I can pull that method off with enough practice, and now I am going to practice 25 questions solving this type of question using that method. Right? That is how you improve. Right? So know yourself is really important, because unless you know what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what you are afraid of, you cannot improve. Knowing the weaknesses, knowing your strength, knowing yourself is the first step in terms of getting to a better score. Okay. Third idea, Veni Vidi Legi. It is taken from Veni Vidi Vici, which means I came, I saw, I conquered. Here it means I came, I saw, I read. Right? Reading is really important. You should not make the mistake of, hey, I'll solve 50 RC puzzles, then maybe I am great at it, I'll go places. Not really. Right? You got to have a reading habit. Some people naturally have, some people can inculcate. So you got to make sure you read really well. You read loads of articles. Check out Bharat's reading list. The link will be available in the description and in the comments as well. So repository of about 500-600 articles posted almost a day a week, about 5-6 articles posted every week. Right? Hand-picked, curated, that is the most vital part. So you got to tell yourself, hey, by the time CAT happens, I would have read at least 400 articles from this. Then you're good to go. You don't need to practice even one RC. I can tell you hand on heart, you read 400 articles from today until the exam, your VA, and you attempt only mocks, your VA RC scores will skyrocket. But you got to do it with faith. You got to do it without having any ulterior motives, but to enjoy reading. Right? So don't think that, hey, I am reasonably alright, I'll do some RC puzzles here and there, and then maybe I'll score great. Reading has become a really vital part in terms of getting a great score in VRC section. So 1/3 of this exam, fabulous opportunity. If you read really well without sweating a lot, you can score really well. So remember that. Carpe diem. Enjoy this moment. What do I mean by that? Planning all of that. Don't get, they usually call this idea as paralysis by analysis. Right? There's a similar thing for planning as well. Right? Planning, over engineering your planning can kind of cripple you, can kind of overwhelm you. Forget about crippling. You can feel overwhelmed that, hey, I have so much to prepare, what am I going to do? Right? Carpe diem tells you to, hey, be in this moment. right? If after the session gets over, if you can solve 10 averages questions and read one passage and then go to sleep, fabulous, nothing can beat it, right? Tomorrow if you can take a mock, fantastic, go for it, right? Being in the moment many times help us not get caught up with what can happen, what is the strategy, how do I strategize my RC, how do I strategize my puzzle selection, how do I do this, do that, what topics do I study, not study. Forget about all of that. Take a pen, paper, take a notebook, go through, let's say, 2IIM's question bank. The URL is qn.2im.com, right? Take 15 questions, solve 15 of them. Try 15 of them. Maybe you will get only one right. It is completely all right. But at the end of the night, if you have seen all the solutions, detailed solutions with videos, and then you feel, okay, I've solved 15 actual questions, phenomenal. But you got to hang in there. You got to do that. You cannot be. See, there are two ways to think about how to lead life. Same applies for CAT preparation as well. One is being anxious. The other one is being really worried. One is you're worried about what can happen in the future. You're worried about what happened in the past. You're either in the past, you're constantly thinking about, hey, last time this happened, last mark this happened, I screwed this up, screwed that up. Or you're always anxious about next mark, what will go wrong, how am I going to manage, all of that, right? Forget about all of them. Prepare, study today. It is important. Having a goal, all of that is important, but Rajesh keeps reiterating, remove emphasis from output metrics and add emphasis on input metrics. Really works like a charm. Let's say instead of saying, hey, next mark I will get 150 marks, if you say, hey, by the time next mark happens in the next 4 days, I would have read for 30 hours and I would have solved at least 200 questions in math and at least 15 puzzles in DLR. That is how you shift the focus from output metrics to input metrics. You will go places if you do that, right? Stay in the moment, guys. These are the 4 common mistakes I really wanted to address for tonight's session. Now we will take a look at the chat. Many questions. We will try and answer as much as possible. I have one more round of structured ideas that I wanted to convey as well. VRC, we have already answered that. Read a lot, it helps. VRC scores fluctuate. Verbal series sometimes plunges to 6 to 10. Right? First of all, fix the accuracy. You're answering 6 questions, you should get at least 6 right. Answering 20 questions, you should get at least 19 right. Fix the accuracy, then worry about the number of questions you want to, right? Breaking the shackle, we will discuss it later. In the second half of the session, we will discuss that. Without time pressure, right? Go read this article called How to Handle Pressure 2IIM blog. You Google for this, you will get that article. Right? It gives you my story of how, when the time pressure sense was removed from the system, removed from the equation, how it gave phenomenal results. Right? It is inside your head. I'm not saying it is not there. It is definitely there. It is completely real. It is there inside your head. Right? I've been someone who kind of got a brain freeze in actual CAT 2012. I was like kind of spent about 15-20 minutes staring at the paper, recollecting what happened in the morning, where did I go, which engineering college I am in, and is the route right, am I in actual CAT, is this some mock CAT, all of that happened. I was not a good headspace. I was 22 years old at that point of time. So it can happen. Pressure can cripple you at some point of time. But this is more and more increasingly becoming an exam of testing your temperament than anything else, right? So learn to deal with it. I'm not saying, hey, this is easy, ignore it. I'm saying the more marks you take, see, once your marks are over, try and solve these questions, right? You solve these questions, build your confidence saying, hey, without time, I'm able to solve all of these questions. The perception matters. You are thinking of this as, hey, I'm able to solve all of these questions outside, but when exam comes, I'm becoming crippled. How do I go about it? And you're getting worried and riled up and all of that. You should think of this as, hey, maybe there is some pressure in the exam. I was not able to solve this, but post the exam, I know that I am able to solve every single question that was given in the paper, which means naturally I am fabulous, I prepared well, I am good enough. Now let me take this and implement this slowly into the actual mark. Don't forget, see, lot of people worry about getting 150 marks, getting 180 marks. First get 80 marks, right? First focus on getting 80 by maximizing all that is available to you. What I mean by that, maybe solve just 2 puzzles. Give yourself 30 minutes. Don't worry about what can happen in CAT. What can happen in CAT can happen in CAT. Don't worry about it now. You're still 3 months away, right? So you got to tell yourself, hey, now my goal is to attempt 2 sets, not more than that. In actual exam, maybe I want to attempt 4, maybe 5, maybe more than that. I don't care. Now my goal is to attempt 2 sets and get all questions right. And then you're saying, okay, which means you can spend 30 minutes on one set, another 30 minutes on set 2. Have this as a goal and solve them, right? Look at how happy you get after this gets over in real life, right? Then you can say, hey, maybe I'll scramble some more and then get another 2 questions right. 3 marks later, maybe another 2 questions right, you are at 3 sets. Before you know, you can be at 4 sets at the end of 8 marks, but you got to build up your confidence and temperament to get there, not just DLR preparation. How do you go about it? You start by saying, hey, I will, whatever time I have, I'm not going to focus on end November result. I'm not going to focus on the day of CAT, I want 5 puzzles. Today where you are with versus that, how many you can solve. If you think you can solve only 2 today, then exactly put 30 minutes for each puzzle, solve 2 puzzles. You will be doing great, right? Even in the quant, I scored 93. I know I scored 93 at least 2 times in quant section, right? I suck at math. I kind of have a phobia of numbers. I get stuck when I see a lot of numbers. In spite of that, I scored 93 twice, which means it's not fluke, right? But with this, how do I get there? I know a lot of people who have prepared everything but have scored way lesser than me. What did I do right? What did I get right that others did not? How do I improve my quant score? Right? The idea is that I take my arithmetic and then I spend 60 minutes on arithmetic. The moment I see a PNC questions, I see ball, earn, dice, cards, I skip. The moment I see some diagram, I skip. Right? Which means I have so much more time for every question that I answer. I answer 15 questions, I get 14 of them right, then I'm through. I am at 93. Which means now you get 93, your confidence goes up instead of getting a 75. Right? From there, bit by bit, you can add one topic and then you can go up. Right? So remember this as an idea. It is really helpful to maximize the time that you have for the topics that you really are sure right now and then increase from there. I started my prep. Will I benefit from the crash course? Work from home? Absolutely. Not able to say, solve 2 DLR sets within 1 hour. The last 5 minutes answer is for you guys. Books that are preferred, 2 IM, obviously 2 IM's books. Can I crack CAT in 3 months? Absolutely possible. Right? 3 mock tests. Okay, so again I kind of get thrown off balance whenever somebody says I have done 2 mock tests, I really scored bad. I have done 4 mock tests, I scored bad. Unless you have done at least 6 mock tests and your 7th and 8th mock scores are really bad, don't ask for help on marks. The first 6-7 marks are for you to get used to the paper. Right? People find it really hard to take in this idea. I will repeat it once again. First 6 marks, don't worry about your score. You can score as low as 30 or 20 and still end up getting a 90 percentile or 95th percentile in the actual CAT if you play your cards right. But you have to not take the first 6 mark scores personally, but feel, okay, see, let's say you want to participate in Olympics, cycling, right? Unless you cross national level cycling, you can't get into Olympic cycling, right? Unless you get through state level cycling, you can't do national level. Unless you learn cycling, you can't even participate in district level. To learn cycling, you have to fall down 18 times, only then you learn. This is exactly same. First 6 marks is equivalent of learning cycling. You fall down repeatedly, that is how you learn. If you are afraid to fall down, forget about national level, forget about international level cycling. Right? Cycling is just an example, but the idea is that unless you are ready to fail, you are not going to succeed. So make sure you take lot of marks, fail in many of them, get poor pathetic scores, and then pull your socks up and then say, hey, I got this score. Now it's a rags to riches story. Now I have 26 marks in my first mark. Let me see where I get in my 35th mark, or let me see where I get in my actual CAT. That is how you prepare for this exam. Ideologically, temperamentally, you should tell yourself, hey, I don't get instantaneous results. That is all right. Right? How to revise? There is a fabulous blog article. Somebody would have posted that. If not, it will also be posted in the comment section later. So definitely check that out. I guess somebody has posted how to solve lots of questions. The starting point is search for CAT question paper. You will get to IIM site. Go there. There are about 50 sets, high quality with video solutions. Solve all of them and then see where it takes you. Right? Until I watch the solutions, it is all right. See, I'll tell you my story. I've got 97.66 in 1 year DLR. The other year I got 95, 93 something. Right? That is the maximum score possible. When I was a student at 2IIM, I know Rajesh and others used to teach really well, but inside the class there was never a circumstance when I had solved even one LR puzzle on my own. But what do you take away from that? You don't have to solve LR puzzles on your own, but you got to be diligent enough to say, hey, maybe I'm not naturally gifted, but let me see where it can take me. Listen to what the faculty has to say very intently. Learn. See, unless you try every puzzle for at least 30-35 minutes, you are not going to learn from the video solutions. So try it as hard as you can and then look at the solutions and then learn from it. That is the only way from here. If you are not confident to face RC, scarred, right, don't do 3 times, make it 15 times a week. Read at least 15-20 articles. If an applicant gets affected by COVID, you should ask IIM CAT help desk. I'm really not sure. Common sense tells you that, hey, skip this year, your life is important. Life of another 300 candidates who might be sharing your room is important. So skip this year and then make everybody's life, including yours, better. Upgrade test closer to crash course, absolutely possible. Reach out to us at info@2im.com. It is possible, right? LOD 1, 2, 3. Why do you need LOD 1, 2, 3? You need to have some amount of progression, right? You solve questions. As long as you're able to solve good quality questions and you're able to get to the answer and understand the solution, you should be good to go. Why do you need LOD 1, 2, and 3? See, LOD 1, 2, and 3 is an artificial creation that your CAT prep industry has created so that they can keep students with a lot of fear and everything, anxiousness and everything. Don't give in to that. Not worth your time. Non-engineer struggling in quants, take up arithmetic, spend 2 months, solve arithmetic really well, get to 90, 95th percentile easily. Make sure you nail the other 2 sections and then you get a fabulous score. How to select set in DLR's puzzle selection, there is a fabulous link available. I'll ask someone to post that, so remember that. Written 7 marks, VRC is 50%. Next time, let's say you are taking 20 questions and then you are getting 7 right? Now make sure next time you attempt only 10 questions, but make sure you get at least 9 or 10 of them right. Give yourself no chances in getting things wrong, which means you are spending about 6 minutes per question, not 3 minutes per question, right? So definitely try it out, it will help. First 3 marks between 70 and 85. Don't worry. Like I mentioned already, make sure you get that 2 sets absolutely nailed. With time, naturally you will have bandwidth to do another 2 questions from another set, maybe another 3 questions. And then slowly you will get to doing another puzzle. From 2 to 3, in 5-6 marks you will go there. But you have to consciously not be worried about number of puzzles, but be worried about, hey, am I maximizing the time that I'm using? 3 months enough for 99th percentile? Absolutely possible. Upgrade definitely possible, already mentioned. Ping us at info@2im.com, we will do that. How to get 99 percentile, we will discuss that. One article, if one article is not enough, maybe read 3. Increasing marks, we will able to solve 2 NRD in 1 hour, absolutely fabulous, go for it. Scores plateauing, we will discuss them in the second half of the session. 99, yes, marks should suffice, get usage the pattern. Sitting there in exam, all 50 exam takers make a difference. I did not understand the question, it's alright. UG Acads, I'm not sure. Ping iamcat.ac.in help desk, they should be able to help you out. TLR and verbal is a problem, like I mentioned, not the issue at all. You know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, now fix them. Revision means going through the basic material in 2IM, do bunch of cat level sums, do both. Once you do percentages by going back to theory, next time you revise percentages by solving at least 20-30 cat level sums, third time you revise, you go back to going through the basic level slides. All 3 are helpful, as in all 2 are helpful, do them alternatingly. PNC is difficult, you can leave that. You still have 3 months time, try to not leave them, remember that. 4 years of work ex, it won't affect. I went into my MBA with 5 years of work ex. I had one person in my senior batch and 1 or 2 in my junior batch who had 5 years or more than that of work ex. Don't worry about it. Right. 3 months enough, absolutely. Volatility in overall percentile, see some random 1 mark you will get 65th percentile, but overall if you see, except for 1 random mark, if everything else is 85th percentile, then you are tentatively looking at 85, 88 percentile in the actual exam. So have that as a benchmark. Once in a while drastic up down is still alright, remember that, don't feel really bad if once in a while things go really bad. How to learn question leaving skills, it is really important, we will discuss that in the second half. Don't accept low grades even after clear the cutoffs. Some IIMs don't, so remember that. Four years of work ex, don't worry about it. 4 years of work ex is fabulous, go for it. Material for CAT preparation, go to online.2im.com. There is a lot of material available, even for free. Appeared for 10 marks, scored around 100. Fabulous. 100 is a great starting point. From there you can grow. 90 percentile possible, absolutely possible, without any doubt. Right. Read more. If you feel your reading is not enough, read more. It will help. Right. 85 gradually 130ish. Fabulous. DLR is poor. Split my time preparing for each section. Prepare for DLR more, obviously. Keep revising your quant, keep reading, don't leave them. Right? Enough time to nail CAT, absolutely, absolutely. Postpone ka chances, किसी को नहीं पता. How does it make any difference? Let's say they postpone CAT from last week of November to third week of December. How does it differ your chances? It does not, because it is a comparative exam and it gets postponed for everybody. Does not make any sense at all. Keep preparing. Work ex is not going to be counted. Disadvantage? Not really. See, every person who is from 20 batch is going to have that. So you are at least on par with everybody in your batch. So go for it. NIT 3 years work ex consulting, you should go target for ABC. Absolutely, you should. Why not? How to prepare non-CAT exam? Prepare well for CAT, touch up some basic GK, go through business decision making for XAT, you are good to go. Right? We will take kind of a small break and go into what I had prepared already. We will come back and answer your questions in a while. Right? I hope you can see the meme that I've shared. Right? There is this eternal struggle about speed versus accuracy, right? CAT aspirant, when they see in the question paper, I am speed. Don't be Lightning McQueen when you see the CAT paper. right? Don't agonize over your strategy. Don't uh, kill yourself thinking about how many questions am I solving in 60 minutes, how many questions am I getting in 2.5 minute window. Speed is not important. First, second thing is, speed versus accuracy should not even be a topic of discussion, because there is no trade-off between speed versus accuracy. You cannot say, hey, right now I'm attempting 60 questions and getting 50 of them right, which means I'm thereabouts of scoring 130. Maybe, which means my accuracy is like really high. Should I attempt 75 questions and get 20 wrong or 25 wrong? It's a very bad trade-off. Don't have that trade-off. Attempt as many questions as you can, that you can attempt correctly. How many questions you get right is the only metric that is important. One thing that can screw up everything is how many you get wrong, which means you got to not attempt wrong questions, which means you got to maximize your positives and minimize your negatives, which means forget about speed, forget about how many questions you are solving, forget about everything possible. All you have to do is attempt the right questions. You are sure of the answer, mark that answer. If you are unsure of that answer, mark and then come back to it. As in, there is a, I'm not saying mark, but the violet color, mark for review and then come back to it later, right? Don't worry about speed versus accuracy. There is also a fabulous blog article and a video on speed versus accuracy. You should definitely check that out. There is no trade-off between speed versus accuracy. If you have that notion inside your head, forget about it. There is no speed. I will trade off some part of accuracy so that I'll get some increased speed. What is the point? If you are any which way getting about 50% wrong, no point in even answering them. Might as well toss a coin. So don't worry about it. Right? Another thing that I wanted to discuss is how to handle marks better. You guys have seemed to started taking a lot of marks right now. So we will answer as many questions as possible in terms of how do you handle your marks. Two parts to it. One is how do you actually go for a mock, and then what do you do inside a mock. The other part is once your mock is over, what do you think, what do you strategize, what do you do before you go on to the next mock and everything. Right? You will do both parts of every question that is stated below. Keep posting your questions related to mocks as well. We will answer them as well. Right? First question is missing out on easy questions in quants. People come out and then say, hey, I solved as many questions as I can until question number 30, but when I came out, I looked at 31, 32, 33, 34. The last 15 seconds I got to look at them. All 4 questions are from topics that I really love and I really could have solved them in like 3 minutes. 4 questions in 3 minutes. Fabulous. But I didn't have time. Right? Don't be that guy. Right? What you should do, what should be your overarching theme for quant is that by the time you hit the 40th minute mark, you should be at 34th question. What do you mean by that? You could not have solved all 34. Most people could not have solved. That is all right, right? Which means you got to skip questions that are tougher. Don't get hung up on questions. Skip questions, right? Again, this is a skill that you, equivalent of cycling. The more number of times you fall down, you know how to adjust your hip better and make it run better and catch the brakes at the right point of time, steer it well and everything, right? Exactly like that. You got to train yourself sitting through marks where I know some comment asked me on how do I know when to let go of a question. Letting go of a question is very tough. You learn that with experience. You get slapped on your face after 2 marks feeling that, hey, my quant score is pathetic, but I attempted 2 or 3 questions in each of the bad scored marks where I spent 6, 3, 8 minutes in each of these questions, which I should not have touched, right? Then you realize this type of question, if it comes, I don't want that 3 marks. I am not ready to spend that 8 minutes. In that 8 minutes, I will probably solve 2 or 3 or 4 questions which are not this question, right? Then you learn. That is how you learn. You learn with experience. We are all humans. We learn with experience phenomenally well. But you got to give yourself a chance to do that, right? Which is why taking marks becomes really important. You got to take at least thereabouts of 30 marks by the time you hit CAT. Right? So by the time 40th minute happens, you should have gone through 1 round of all questions after skipping all the medium to tough questions that you can. From there, you can go back and solve the questions that you which means in the first round solve all easy questions that you can solve, and from there you can pick it up, right? What if, I know people would have asked me this question as well, what if the paper is actually really tough, every question takes me a lot of time, right? By the time third, fourth question comes, you have already realized that, right? By the time 6 minutes are done, you have realized that, which means out of these questions you spend some more time, you balance. It is an act of balancing and adjusting during the exam. That is why you are human, you are not programmed, so you know there is no one right method, but you know based on how the paper is, you got to adjust yourself, course correct yourself, and make the most out of it. Which means if you skip all the tough questions, you should be there at the end of the paper in, let's say, 10-12th minute, not 40th minute like I mentioned, if the paper is really tough. After 12th minute, you know any which way the paper is tough, you got to attempt questions, so from there you take it, right? So make sure you have scope for course correction. Don't be pig-headed about, I have to solve these many questions, I want to do this, I want to do that, right? Remember that. The next two questions are from RC. How to answer 34 questions in RC? You don't. I scored 99.2 last year in RC. I answered about 23-24 questions, got 1 or 2 of them wrong, or 26 questions and then got 3 of them wrong if I'm not wrong. I'm not saying you should not look to get 99.9. My point being, again, the 23 number is a number that was applicable for CAT 19. That number is not applicable for CAT 18, might not be applicable for CAT 20. So that is an imaginary example number, right? So don't get hung up on that one number. But the example is that you don't have to attempt all questions to get where you got to go, right? Sometimes I go to the extent of unmarking questions that I find slightly unnerving. I'm not sure about this. Maybe if I keep that answer, my scores will go down. Then what I do is I go there, I take effort to unmark those questions and then come out. Most cases, one of the two happens. Either the last two options, I learned with time to figure out what is the right option, because even if you have shortened down to last two options, if you think about it, there is some difference between the last two options. Either one is right, one is wrong, or one is a trap where it looks like it is right but it is wrong, or sometimes, very rarely, both are right options, but among which you don't know what to pick, but you got to pick the best answer among the two right options. So have this in mind, right? So one way of thinking about it is finding the better option among the two. One could be wrong, one could be right, or both could be right, but you got to pick the better option. That is one way of going about it. The other way is, I marked some answer, but there is constant battle inside my head that says B, C, B, C, C, B, B, C, right? I am really pissed off at that moment. What I do is I go back to that question, I unmark that question, I take that BC battle out of my head, put it out, and then I go on solving other questions, right? Because you have spent 13 minutes reading a passage and next 4 minutes answering 3 questions, doesn't mean you have to answer the 4th question. If you are sharp enough, you will skip that question. That is what brilliant people do. That is what people with a great temperament will do. So learn from that experience, right? Skipping questions is fabulous. Always skip questions whenever you can, right? So last two options, you have answered that. How to answer 34 questions? The answer is you don't answer 34 questions, or you don't have to answer 34 questions. You have to answer as many questions as you can correctly in that 64 minutes your brain can process. That is the right answer, right? How to answer more sets than my current speed? We have discussed this in detail some time ago. I'll give you a gist of that. How do you maximize the time that you can right now? So right now, let's say you are solving 2 sets, 8 questions, right? Make sure you spend at least 28 minutes in each of the set, not 20 minutes and then roaming around the paper for the remaining 20 odd minutes, right? Make sure you spend this time, or then you figure out, okay, maybe I can push this and then make it 25 and 25. I have 50 minutes, I have 10 minutes left. Maybe I look at one puzzle where I can solve 1 question or 2 questions from that. You keep doing this over time, your how many questions or how many sets you can solve becomes so much better with time. So remember that. You cannot one fine day wake up and then say, hey, until yesterday I was solving 2 puzzles, from today I am going to solve 3 puzzles. Not going to happen. So remember that. How reflective is a mock score of your actual CAT performance, right? You have 3 months to go, right? People can recover from open heart surgery in 3 months, right? Uh, really great things could happen in 3 months. Today, what mock scores you get is not reflective of what you can score at the end of 3 months. Always remember that. Don't let anybody else tell you that. If somebody tells you your mock scores are poor, maybe you should sign up for something. Tell them, hey, it's alright, I will take care of myself, and go about preparing and fixing the gaps that you have. In 3 months, you can do wonders. Obviously, there are going to be a small bunch of people who are already doing phenomenally. It is alright. Such is life. There are always going to be 8 geniuses who are going to get 100 percentile. It is alright. Right? There are going to be another 12 of them who have practiced hard enough that they also end up getting 100 percentile. It is alright. Some people can. Others, right now on day one, need not be scoring 180s and 190s. Right? Even in the chat, you see somebody cribbing about, hey, I'm already getting only 130, I want to do 180. Don't feel bad about it. It's alright. Right? End of the day, what matters is, let's say you want a 97th percentile and B school X. Do you get there is all that matters. You got to focus on yourself, sit in a silo and prepare really well for that. Which is where a proper online course like 2IIM comes into play. I'm not trying to pitch our course, but the idea of sitting in a silo and preparing without external disturbances. You're preparing through Facebook and preparing through social media, and all of that is humbug, because you get loads of notification and then some notification pops up. If there's a live video posted by some channel that you follow, nowadays Facebook starts off the live video as a notification in the corner of your screen. There are so many places to get distracted, right? Again, there are many teachers teaching in a course. Then again, it is your search cost is too high. You should not be paying a lot of money, because you are paying a lot of money to a course because they are minimizing your search cost. You open up a learning management system, everything is structured in one particular order. You sit in a silo, cut yourself out from the world, and then you prepare really well, and then you nail this exam. Don't keep comparing yourself. What is the first rank? How many people must have scored better than me? Some people would have been preparing for this exam for the 4th time. You can't really compare yourself with them, right? So see what is your focus and how you can get to that point. That is all that should matter and nothing else. So remember that. Plateauing of mock scores, how to break the barrier, right? It's an important question. A lot of people have asked about each sectional plateauing or overall plateauing, right? We will answer that. If you are plateauing in mock scores, let's say you are constantly scoring 80 to 85, 80 to 90, but you are unable to grow more than that. Let's say you are constantly scoring 60 to 70. It is still all right. How do you go up from there? Two ways to think about it. One is, you check your mock answers, you analyze your marks to death, and then you find gaps, you fix those gaps, right? You do 3 rounds of this, and then you feel like, hey, I fixed all the gaps, still I am not able to cross this plateau. Then what you do is, it means you need a different level of understanding of whatever you've already understood for you to move on to the next level, right? Imagine you are teaching this idea to somebody. Prepare to teach this idea to somebody, right? If you are preparing for teaching, you are looking at, hey, is this one method enough, or should I tell them, should I convey the other method also, right? The more you wind, the better you wind your head around a topic, right? The better you understand, which is why teaching helps really well. Doing group studies and people helping each other out and telling them giving answers to someone else is really helpful for your preparation. You are not spending time for the sake of others. In many ways, it is selfish for you to, it is good, in a good way it is selfish. It should be in your own interest to teach others as much as you can. If you don't have people who want to get taught by you, imaginary friend, assume somebody is sitting next to you and you want to teach it to them, right? When you have a different level of understanding of the same idea, you can answer more questions on that idea. This will happen only when your first round, analyzing your marks, fixing your gaps, fixing silly mistakes, all of that have gone, done with that. Now you got to take the same lesson, same pedagogy, everything, and then think about it as, hey, last time I went through all of this, but this time I will go through all of this with exactly one difference, is that now I am going to imagine I am the teacher and I am going to teach it to somebody else. and see where it takes you. It will take you places, I can tell you, hand on heart, this will happen. Right. We'll answer some more questions from the chat. Where did we let go? How to learn question leaving skills, all of that we have answered. Repeaters or crash course, absolutely, crash course is there, the link is available, please check it out. I'm just starting, should I keep my strategy mock oriented? Mock forms a very important part of it. Numbers or PNC according to 2IM course, almost on everything. See, no, solve numbers and PNC also, because now you have the time to go about it, so solve them. 1.5 years teaching experience in school after my engineering, it won't affect. You have done some tangible work with your proper offer letter and salary slip and everything, fabulous, right? It won't affect. I'm getting very low scores in the 6 marks. I'm reading daily, right? 6 marks, like I already mentioned, go ahead and then solve more, right? Read more, practice more, solve more, it will improve. 10 marks so far, marks stuck around 100. I've already answered this question. Instead of practicing RCs and reading else, what else to do? There is nothing else you can do. Read more variety. Okay, and 3 months is definitely wrong term. Reading helps, absolutely. Number system, not very important, but it will always be advisable to go through them, have the basics set in place. Correspondence course graduates taken seriously, absolutely. If you have a 3-year course done from a university that is recognized by UGC, then you are taken seriously. That's all there is to it. Equivalent of reading for quants, revising. Revision is the holy grail. People miss out on revising, like how people miss out on reading. Revision is your holy grail. You keep revising as much as you keep preparing, you are good to go. Scared, with time for DLR, with time you fix them. You solve lots of puzzles, you get better, right? Analyzing VRC mock, look for solution, should be resolve, but also look for solution. Compare your solution with their solution and then see what went wrong in your thought process. That is important. 80% in VARC DLR, it keeps changing every year. There is no one right number. In 19, if you want, you put 2IM CAT 2019 analysis, it will give you the exact number, 80th percentile, thereabouts of 80 marks, right? Overall, however you get it across the sections, you should be good to go, right? So remember that. But whatever was true for CAT 19 need not be true for CAT 20. So I will stay away from speculating how many questions for DLR, how many questions for VARC to score 80th percentile. Right, unable to solve few questions, analyzing, we have answered this. You are unable to solve them under pressure. When you are analyzing, if you can solve them, give yourself a pat on the back, maybe give yourself a small treat, tell yourself, hey, I can do this, let me get to this question in the next mark. Whenever your next mark happens, you see the same type of question, you know you are going to nail that question, right? That helps. More weightage in CAT, geometry or number system. Based on the last 4-5 years, geometry, absolutely, right? What else? Quality newspaper like Hindu for VRC, Hindu is very good, but you can improve upon by reading more and more different eclectic RC or passages. What to do for regular GK? Keep reading newspaper, it helps. Fourth point about what? About carpe diem, about being in the moment. Don't worry about the past, don't worry about the future. Be in this moment, prepare. Tonight after the session gets over, solve 10 math questions, solve 1 RC passage, read 1 article, go to sleep. That is what carpe diem is. Enjoy this moment, live in this moment. Completed BTech in 18, worked for a year in Zomato, left for CAT 19. I completely screwed my D-Day. And then is there other part of the question? I don't understand. PG diploma from IGNO considers PG course. I'm not sure. You got to ping them on imcat.ac.in help desk email address and then get it clarified. How good a college is Mica in general? Mica is really good for marketing and branding roles. Yes, absolutely. One of my professors had done it from Mica, and lot of people who are in the advertising and marketing space in the country have gone through Mica as a part of their B-School thing. So yeah, daily reading tentative time. If you are okay at it, 1 hour. If you are slightly less than okay, maybe 2 hours. If you feel you don't know where you are, make it 1.5 to 2 hours. Right? 2 to 3 hours, I'm not focused. You got to find yourself to sit yourself in one place and focus. Right? This is something that somebody cannot teach you to become focused. It is like self-motivation. Intrinsic motivation should be there to tell yourself, hey, I got to do this because I want to do this, not because somebody else tells me to do this. So you got to find that motivation to focus. It is very, very vital, but you got to. Right? What else? 160 odd on an average, realistically aim to cross 200, absolutely possible if you keep improving. It is possible. Try to solve different types of DLR, sometimes learn a new method. Yes, it is required, absolutely. That was in part 1. Part 2, I'm not sure, I got to go back and check. Approximate time to analyze marks, about 6-7 hours, easily 6 hours at least. As long as you are solving a variety of puzzles, learning the methods, absolutely. I can't improve my speed in quant, stuck at 10-15 questions. Make sure you spend 15 questions. 60 by 15 is 4. You spend at least 4.5 minutes in every question. Right? Naturally, when your time taken becomes less than 4 minutes, you will get time to solve more questions. Go for it. Second year, should I start preparation? Kind of early. If you want to, obviously you can. There's no harm in doing that, but it is early, especially if you are in engineering. 1.5 years gap will be trouble. It's all right. Such is life. You've been given that cards. You got to deal with it. You can't do much about it. Bachelor's in mass communication generally have less value. No, not really. Any graduation is a graduation. If you have an IIT, NIT, then you have some advantage over everybody else. Otherwise, you are not disadvantaged versus others. So remember that. 2 years experience, 1 year gap, it will affect your profile. You should be ready to answer questions in your interview. Unable to score above 85, already been answered enough times. So yeah. Reading, relying upon Bharat's reading list should be enough. We have about 500 plus articles. If you can read at least 300, 400 of them from now until the exam, you should be good to go. You don't need anything else. Right? I've answered the mock stuck at a score. Practice from GMAT Manhattan should help. Anything that is GMAT is slightly more complicated than CAT might help. Right? Thanks for 2IIM providing huge number of questions in every section, helping me a lot. Thanks a lot. All the best, Rahul. It means a lot to us. We have put in so much effort in terms of creating content. We have created content for the online course in the last 6 years or so. Right? One of the earliest CAT courses available in the country, one of the best courses available in the country is 2IIM's, because we did not create an online CAT course because COVID hit us. We have been doing this for a while. We know what we need to do, we know what we need to tell so that you can prepare well. We know what needs to be part of the course for you to take value from. Right? So once again, reminding, there is a fabulous discount running. The link will be posted soon in the comments, in the description as well. Right? So if you are looking for a CAT course, definitely sign up for the crash course. The crash course also comes with business decision making and your CAT level tests and everything else. So yeah, right, we are at 10 o'clock. I hope this is we are at the end of the session. If you are analyzing marks, wasting 3 hours, absolutely you are wasting it. You are throwing it to waste. Don't solve only RC, skip PS, or give more time to RC, improve accuracy. My idea is that I will solve 2 or 3 RCs, and then from there I'm tired of RCs. I go to VA and then do at least 2-3 questions and then come back to RC. Right? Either way is fine. So don't worry about it. Crash course and regular course content wise, the course content is exactly same. Your regular course gets some more things added to you, your GDPI preparation and drill level questions and everything. Your crash course does not have that. That is the difference. Right? Profile review, I'm not getting into that. There is a fabulous 100K touched video about profile reviews, so check that out. Right? 1 year gap, already answered that. 5.5 years experience, gap of 2 years. Think about FMS should be possible. ABC might be very tricky unless you get 99.9 or something. Right? You should definitely think about GMAT as a backup. Right? Should help. Class 12 and engineering, people won't question you too much about it. You can always say, hey, my parents wanted me to sit for NEET and JEE. It did not go well, which is why I took up some random college and all of that. You can answer. SIOM is a good college. SIOM is a decent college. Right? So all the best, guys. I had fun answering your questions. Right? Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the session as well. Right? Cheers, guys. See you guys.